Video number 2 for the day, and we're going to be talking about the Los Angeles Clippers, who finished last season with a 50-32 record, which was the 5th seed in the Western Conference, but tied for 3rd. They lost in round 1 to a tremendous Denver Nuggets team in 7 games. Now, first thing I want to talk about, the big elephant in the room all off season. Pablo Torre's been reporting on it primarily. There's also some good podcasts from Zach Lowe about it, but the LA Clippers owner Steve Ballmer potentially circumventing the salary cap with Kawhi Leonard. There has been an investigation going on that shows that Steve Ballmer, as well as some other high-ranking officials in the Clippers organization, have donated to a company called Aspire. Now, that company has since gone bankrupt. There's a lot of legal stuff going on between the company as well as some funding issues, but the main meat and potatoes of what's going on and why the Clippers are involved is Kawhi Leonard, the Clippers superstar, has apparently taken over $28 million, potentially up to $50 million, according to some reporting, nearly exactly to the dollar amount that Steve Ballmer and the Clippers have contributed to that company. He's taken from them in what's been called endorsement deals, even though he's done nothing to publicly endorse this company. Not a tweet, not a public appearance, he hasn't planted a tree, nothing like that. So there's investigations going on within the NBA about potentially circumventing the cap. Now, we've seen and we've heard reports before about Kawhi Leonard in the 2019 free agency period talking with the Toronto Raptors, asking for partial stake in the Toronto Maple Leafs. We've heard reports from the Los Angeles Lakers that Kawhi Leonard and his team wanted potentially partial ownership in the Lakers, or houses, or private jets, things outside of just what's explicitly stated in his contract, which is why this becomes that much more believable. Again, I'd recommend checking out Zach Lowe on the Ringer podcast, as well as Pablo Torre on Pablo Torre Finds Out, if you're interested in learning a lot more about how this could affect the Clippers, the collective bargaining agreement and what you can and can't do, as well as just the whole story of how ludicrous this all sounds. We all know Steve Ballmer is one of the richest owners in all of North American sports, and it doesn't quite shock me that he would want to get a competitive edge like this. Again, the NBA is going to be conducting their own investigation and seeing what it is the potential punishment could be. It could go all the way up to the Clippers losing multiple first-round picks and Kawhi Leonard's contract being voided to the point where he can no longer sign with the Clippers. As we talk about the LA Clippers in this video, we're going to assume that this roster is as currently constructed. They're not having any fines as far as their salary cap. Kawhi Leonard's not getting cut or anything like that. This team had a couple of key additions in the offseason, including picking up Bradley Beal on a fairly cheap deal after he was bought out and waived by the Phoenix Suns. That whole thing was a disaster, but I am a Bradley Beal hater, so I'm not going to touch too much on that. I'll probably have some bias. Bringing in Chris Paul as well is going to be a great sixth man or point guard off the bench. Brook Lopez and John Collins fortify the front court led by Ivica Zubac. Now, their only big losses were Norman Powell, who I will say had the second most points per game on the team last year, and Amir Coffey. Bradley Beal should fill the Norman Powell-sized hole in the Clippers rotation if Bradley Beal does end up starting. Right now, the projected starting lineup is going to be Harden, Beal, Kawhi, John Collins, and Ivica Zubac. Now, their second bench unit, Chris Paul, Chris Dunn, Derrick Jones Jr., and Nick Batum with Brook Lopez, is honestly better than some teams' starting 5. This is an extremely deep team and one that I think is going to be able to eclipse their 50-win mark last year, because this is the first time in forever Kawhi Leonard is coming into a season fully healthy without anything holding him back. Will it stay like that? If I had to bet, probably not, but we have to assume health. So much is hanging on the potential punishments that could come down onto the Clippers from this scandal, but again, making assumptions that this roster, based on how it's currently constructed, is going to be healthy, then this team can compete for a top 2 seed in the West. Beal and CP3 replace Norman Powell. John Collins and Brook Lopez add to a front court that already had a tremendous center in Ivica Zubac. Most importantly, Kawhi Leonard's healthy coming into the season, as we previously stated. The Clippers finished 18-3 down the stretch with Harden and Kawhi healthy, and were 26-11 overall in the 37 games that their dynamic duo played together. If we can get 50, maybe even 60 games from this duo, I don't see why they can't eclipse the 48.5 win total that FanDuel currently has their total set at. As well as, I expect this team to be firmly in the mix come May as we get to that second round, maybe even Western Conference Finals, and maybe if injury luck breaks their way, this is the team representing the West in the June Finals. We don't know, but again, I'm going to go over that 47.5 point mark. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this whole cap circumvention scandal, and as always, thank you to Suncoast Sports for encouraging me to put out these videos. Suncoast Sports being a breaking company on the app Fanatics Live. Fanatics Live, a place where we get all kinds of exclusive trading cards, autographs, and memorabilia from rookies, legends, and stars alike. As always, thank you guys for watching, and have a good rest of your Saturday.